Distinguished participants, experts, and colleagues from all over the world, ladies and gentlemen, from 32 countries, including Japan, are assembling here today. Good afternoon. Welcome to UNESCO ASPnet International ESD Events for Students and Teachers. And this is an ASPnet platform for teachers. My name is Yumi Shindo, Program Specialist of the Education Cooperation Department of Asia Pacific Cultural Center for UNESCO, ACCU. It's a great honor for me to be an MC for this very important event. Before starting, I'd like you to make sure your earphone is working fine. You have 3 language channels. Channel 1 is Japanese, Channel 2, English, Channel 3 is French. Do you have earphone? Some people need earphones, please. So, are you ready? Okay. I would like to mention one more thing. This event is delivered to the internet casting to be uploaded at UNESCO's ESD Conference website. So please keep smiling. Okay, once again, we'd like to open UNESCO ASPnet International ESD event for students and teachers, and this is an ASPnet platform for teachers. First of all, let us invite Mr. Iwamoto Wataru, Advisor to Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology, MEXT, to give welcome remarks. Mr. Iwamoto, welcome. 岩本様、お願いいたします。
Good afternoon. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Dear Mr. Tan, Assistant Director General of Education of UNESCO, distinguished guests, dear participants, dear colleagues, dear friends, it is my great honor to say a few words at the occasion of the opening of the Teachers Forum in the framework of ASPnet platform. Personally, I am very honored to speak in front of Mr. Tang because personally, I succeeded to the function of the Director of Secondary Technical and Vocational Education in 2001 after Mr. Tang. And this time not succeed. I precede Mr. Tang for this speech. So it's my great honor. And he is promoted, and as I am advisor to the Ministry of Education in Japan. And also advisor to the Japanese National Commission for UNESCO. As you already know, Japanese National Commission has increased the number of UNESCO associate schools because we think it serves as basis for promotion of education for sustainable development, not only environmental education, but also disaster preventive education or cultural patrimony, cultural heritage education, etc. But nowadays, we think that increase the number is important, but of course, to keep the quality is more important. That is why 2 years ago, our National Commission has set up the guideline for UNESCO associated schools. And nowadays, and it's only in March, our National Commission has proposed that we should make some kind of regional consortium to mobilize regional educational power, not only formal education, but also non-formal education. But as UNESCO's associated school as a key component in collaboration with the private sector or board of education. So I think more and more the school should be organized to the community or to open to the society, and the role of UNESCO's associated school, and especially the teacher's role, are crucial. So that is the reason why, even though the time is very limited, I would like you to discuss how to share our experience on ESD of all over the world and how we can contribute to post-2014 scenario. As you already know, the Global Action Program focuses 5 points. Policy support, youth, educators, and local communities, and whole school approach. All these are linked with the power of educate. And I would like to listen to your voice on how, of course, to link all these 5, like amalgam way is not so important, but what can we do with the children, with the local community, or with policy makers, and how to promote education for sustainable development after 2014 is one of our most keen interests of this meeting. So it's rather you to be the main actors of this 3 hours discussion, so I will limit my speech. But before finishing, I would like to express my thanks to, of course, education sector of UNESCO for their devoted efforts, and also ACCU that realized this important meeting. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iwamoto. I would also like to invite Mr. Chien Tan, Assistant Director General, UNESCO. Mr. Chien Tan, please come forward.
Mr. Iwamoto, dear ASPnet teachers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and ohayo gozaimasu. I'm very pleased to open the platform for teachers of the UNESCO Associate School International ESD events here in Okayama. I'm very happy to co-open this events with my former colleagues, Mr. Iwamoto. Now he's back to Japan and advisor to the ministry and also the National Commission for UNESCO. I'm happy to see him here, and once again we work together. And I also like to thank the ACCU, the Asia Pacific Cultural Centers of UNESCO, for your work and help to get these events happened. Dear colleagues, since you arrived in Japan, you have had opportunity to participate in intercultural exchange in local school communities and observe students' interactions. This afternoon is your turn to review UNESCO's ESD achievements at school level that have contributed to the success of the decade of education for sustainable development, and to discuss the role of ASPnet teachers in promoting ESD beyond 2014. I do not need to say much about the importance of ESD here, but let me just iterate that teaching sustainability concerns both content and methodology. ESD means including key sustainable development issues such as climate change, biodiversity, or poverty reduction into teaching and learning. It also means applying participatory teaching and learning methods that motivate and empower learners to think critically, change their behavior, and take action for sustainable development. As ASPnet teachers, you fully understand the importance of ESD. Moreover, you have been active in exploring sustainable development through a variety of projects and activities in your own countries. In fact, the UNESCO Associate Schools Network has been part of a major advance in ESD. For example, in Oman, the role of ASPnet schools in embedding ESD at the primary and secondary education level has been crucial. Indonesian ASPnet teachers and students have put ESD into practice through community services. There are now numerous initiatives focused on national eco or green school programs, such as in Kenya and Senegal, and there are environmental school certification systems, such as in Chile. Here in Japan, the 817 ASPnet schools provide the basis for implementing a whole school approach to ESD. In addition, the regional initiative for cooperation for ESD promotion in Asia bring together associate schools and their local communities around the role of a rise in global sustainability development. These examples showcase the progress achieved, and this would not have been possible without contribution and the commitment of teachers. UNESCO attaches great importance to the role of teachers in implementing ESD. Teachers are the most influential factor in student achievement. I'm convinced that all of us here remember at least one special teacher who opened our horizons. A good teacher holds the key to quality learning, shows children the way forward, and cultivates tolerance, solidarity, and respect. As the societies became more interconnected and increasingly diverse, ESD can help teachers bring about social changes consistent with sustainable development. If ESD is to become a worldwide reality, one of the priorities must be to strengthen teacher training institutions to provide a solid initial training and a continual professional development. Rethinking teachers' education allows countries to integrate the principles of ESD into what teachers learn and how they teach. It can revitalize teaching and the learning processes. This is why the Global Action Program on ESD aims at increasing the capacity of educators and trainers. In many education systems, the implementation of ESD still relies on the motivation and the dedication of individual teachers. I would therefore like to thank all of you here for your passion and continued commitment. The energy you bring to teaching is one of the most powerful forces we have to lay the foundations for lasting peace and a sustainable development. The purpose of this platform this afternoon is therefore not only the sharing of experiences and the strengthening of international partnerships, but also to ensure that teachers' points of view are heard by the world. In the end, I'd like to thank you very much again for your attention, and I wish you very fruitful and enriching exchanges in the next couple of hours. And UNESCO will be very happy to listen to what you're going to say, and we certainly will like to do our best to promote the teachers' involvement and the leadership in the ESD process. And I wish you all have a very good discussion. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tan. Thank you very much for encouraging us and encouraging teachers. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Shibao Tomoko, Director of Education Cooperation Department of Asia Pacific Cultural Center for UNESCO, ACCU, and Platform Secretariat. Ms. Shibao, welcome.
Good afternoon. こんにちは。ACCU のShibaoです。This is Shibao, Asia Pacific Cultural Center for UNESCO. I met some of you on the Facebook. Yes? Well, let us remind what this forum is about. This ASP platform for teachers will gather 40 wonderful teachers from all over the world, 32 countries, to share your achievement in ESD and to discuss the way forward. You arrived in 7-8 different localities in Japan, enjoyed hospitality, and then gathered in Okayama and witnessed the great achievement of your students finally adapting in their declaration. So let us share our achievement and also discuss how we can promote ESD more. And this platform will provide you this opportunity. You are also invited to attend Japan's 6th National Conference on ASPnet to adopt another declaration by teachers and UNESCO ASPnet school. And the draft document of this declaration, which we have been producing in a participatory way, is on your table for your reference material for discussion. Organizer, as you know, UNESCO, Ministry of Education, Japanese National Commission for UNESCO, and partners Okayama City, and other Okayama-related city board of education, other institutions, and ACCU is one of the organizing partner, which we are very proud of. Now, let us invite you to stand up. There's no microphone, but I understand teachers are very good at speaking in a loud voice. So can you just say your name and country? Okay. So those who are coming from Africa, please stand up. And then can you say your name and your country, please? Starting. Okay. 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 Ghana. Thank you very much. Then from Arab region, can you please stand up? There should be 3 people. Yes? Oh? Oh? All right. Tunisia, Lebanon, and Oman, please. This is UNESCO region, how they divide into sub-regions. Yes. Oh, thank you. Okay, next. Can people from Asia and the Pacific stand up except for those from Japan? Kazakhstan, thank you. Pakistan, thank you. Indonesia, thank you. New Zealand, thank you. Thailand, thank you. Vietnam, thank you. Fiji, thank you. Republic of Korea, thank you.
Good afternoon. I am from Bangladesh and it's Mohammed Abdul.
Bangladesh, thank you.
And I'm Alan Bernard Aman. I'm from the Philippines.
Philippines, thank you. And those from Japan, please stand up. There should be 9 people.
Good afternoon. My name is Hori Kazuto, Osaka, Japan.
Mr. Hori, thank you.
Hello, my name is Angus McGregor, and I'm from Kyoto.
From Kyoto, thank you.
My name is Yoda Nakamura from Japan.
Hi, I'm Yoko Sanada. I'm from Chiba, Japan.
My name is Zeno Iwata, from Okayama, Japan.
My name is Kazu Ikeda from Yamanashi City. I'm called Shiraiwa. I came from Hokkaido, Noto, Japan.
My name is Takashi Iwata from Shima Prefecture, Japan. My name is Hiroshi Ono, from Okayama.
Thank you, Japanese team, the team from Japan. And then from Europe and North America, could you please stand up? There should be 8 participants. Okay.
My name is Shelley Luke and I'm from Canada.
Thank you from Canada.
Good afternoon. My name is Lionel. I'm from France.
France, thank you. Greece, thank you. Germany. Thank you, Denmark.
Hello, I'm Natalia Leonova from Russian Federation.
Thank you. And not the least, from Latin America and Caribbean, please. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Yomari Morigado. I'm from Mexico. Hello, my name is Monica Sosa. Hello, my name is Jackie Ribeiro from Peru.
My name is Leonardo Luis. I'm from Brazil.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nungo Ward. I'm from Haiti.
Thank you, distinguished teachers. For this diverse group of participants, there are people to facilitate our discussion. Let us introduce our facilitators who has been working for and with ASPnet schools in Japan. Mr. Ii, and Mr. Oikawa, and Mr. Nakazawa, Mr. Suzuki, and Miss Ai Nakatani. And those are from Municipal Education Board or working for university. Thank you very much. And also, for us to facilitate beyond language barrier, we have communication supporters who pay their own way to travel here as a voluntary basis. There are communication supporters who are teachers at high school or used to be high school teachers who are now working at the university. Please stand up, Miss Minami, Miss Iwami, Miss Itoi, Mr. Itoi, and Miss Nishihara over there. Thank you very much for your support. So as we are a little bit late in beginning, but we'd like to finish as much as possible as scheduled, but we will have group up right after this and after introductory remark by Mr. Ichinose. But we would like you to produce 2 responses of the theme that we set. And for that, I will let Mr. Ichinose to explain. But these are the themes that I want you to discuss in a small group discussion. And after your small group discussion, each team will present in 5 minutes, please. And then you do not ask your facilitators or communication supporter to present. The teacher, you please divide your responsibility how to present your work. Thank you very much. This is from my part introductory to this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for introduction to platform. Okay, now we will move on to the group work session. I'd like to invite Professor Ichinose Tomonori from Miyagi University of Education. Professor Ichinose will give you introductions to the group work and facilitate your discussions as well. Professor Ichinose, please come forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished ASPnet teachers. So you make a great effort to hold a high school student conference this morning. So in this morning, high school students showed us a very high performance. And they are making a great effort for making the sustainable futures. They are going ahead. They are in front of us. Now we are standing at the backyard of the school. So let's start our work. So my name is Tomonori Ichinose. Please call me Tom. I'm the general coordinator of this session. I'm also at ASPnet school. Every day I'm struggling to promote new generations for making a sustainable societies. So what is the role of these platforms? UNESCO sent us a message. Today, 40 ASPnet teachers and 31 countries to share their ESD achievement, and we would like to discuss the post-ESD efforts. And today we have 2 topics. The one is we are reflecting ESD achievement. We would like to think about what is the change in the student, what is the transformation of the student, and at the back of the changes, what is the factors to change the students. And then we have another 40 minutes to think, to discuss about the role and actions of teachers, and the ASPnet, how to promote ESD beyond 2014. So at first, we'd like to think what is the transformation of the students. This is one of the examples. Most of the advanced ESD schools in Europe, some teachers reported that students are changed. For example, this is one of the examples. I don't know you agree or not agree. Some students' reading and writing skills are developed. And calculation skills is also going up. Pupils' thinking ability is improved, and sometimes pupils' concern to study are increased. Learning attitude has changed. Throwing garbage, destructive behaviors were stopped. What do you think about this? So I made an investigation in Japan. This is one of the academic investigation, but as your reference, I would like to show you. This is answers of the 31 ASPnet school teachers in one of the school board of education in Japanese local city. Some teachers say that they can see the improvement of students' interest. Someone say that the improvement of student participation. For example, another student collaboration skills and student leadership was all increased. This is one of the samples, but the average is so high. And the next, let's think about their attitude or some competencies. Most of the teachers say that they collaborative attitude, respect for interconnectedness was improved. So, and so on. This is one of the examples. So, today we'd like to talk about those transformations, those changes in the students of your school. And then, this is the next half. We'd like to talk about the role and actions of teachers and what we do, what we ASPnet to promote ESD beyond 2014. So, to consider, to think about this topic, we would like to read the GAP, UNESCO GAP suggestions. UNESCO GAPs suggested us, they say, ESD has generated a large amount of concrete good practices project, as you shown us. But global action programs say that ESD has not yet to complete its integration into the mainstream of the education and sustainable development agendas. So this is one of the suggestions for the next step. And from this viewpoint, UNESCO shows us the 5 priority areas. Do you know the 5 priority areas? And one is the policy support, the integration of ESD in curricula and in national quality standards and indicators frameworks, and establish. We have to establish standard for learning outcomes. And the next suggestion is a whole institution approaches. Whole institution approaches. Not only the orientation of teaching content and methodology, but also campus facility management, that it is in line with the sustainable development. And the third is the training educators. ESD is integrated in pre-service and in-service education and training for early childhood, primary and secondary school teachers. And it includes ESD training for head teachers. We need the training for the principals and head teachers. And the last, the supporting youth participation is also an important point. Learner-concentrated, non-formal and informal learning opportunities in ESD for youth are enhanced. And the last, this is the last one. Encouraging local communities' participations. Local communities support non-formal and informal learning opportunities in sustainable development for all members of the communities. So this is one of reference for our discussions. But so under this concept, we would like to start our discussions. Now we are sitting in the round table. If it is good for us to start our dinners, but we have to work for. Okay, each tables you have facilitators. So. And we continue to discussion about these 2 points. And finally, we have a summary group working sessions. That is about 45 minutes. But now we don't have enough time for doing this. But each tables, each presentators, they have 5-time presentations. So using different ways, for example, you can use some white papers to show, or you can use some computers. And if you have any suggestion, you can show another way to show your discussion. So are you okay? Now we start to our discussions. Hi. Hi. あ、そうですか。Yes, Ms. Shiba will say that our discussion will continue until 5:40. 5:40. 5:40. So now it's 6:24. So we keep our discussion until 5:40. So we start self-introduction and then we continue to discuss about those two topics. Okay, let's go. そうですね。Excuse me. Now we have already passed 35 minutes and etc. 45 minutes. We'll have to summing up our discussions. School has a lot of issues, but we have going step up for the sustainable futures. Let's keep on. ごめんなさい。なんか指がずれちゃった。のどの全部5個ありますか。はい。じゃあ最初からでいいですか。ポリシーのサポートと、これは政府とか教育局が何をするか、あとホール全学校で取り組んでくださいっていうことと、それからあとは先生の研修をしてくださいっていうことと、はい、あともはいごめんなさい。じゃあ最初から、教育政策で ESD を評価とか、基準とかいったものを作ってください。はい、じゃあ2番目が、全機関を挙げて取り組んでください。全学校とかそういう組織を挙げて取り組んでください。3番目が先生はちゃんと検証してくださいということでした。4番目が若者が学校外のノンフォーマルとかインフォーマルの教育の場で ESD を学べるようにしてください。地域社会が学校とに関与を強めてくださいって言われてます。はい、ごめんなさい。はい、はい、大丈夫です。はい、はい、はい。柴さんの説だと5時40分までなってる。はい。グローバルアクション、全世界で行動するプログラム、グローバルアクション。はい、はい、2014年に向けてこそにしたらどうですかということで、こういう分野でこうしたらどうですかというサービスです。 Yes,
nowadays,
yes,
but also the most difficult
yeah, I agree.
to implement these
Yeah,
things.
yeah. But this time, so they have only a short time. So
That's, I'm not sure everybody understands everything was
not so
explained,
easy.
but
Yeah.
I really think it's
Yeah.
the important
It's
schedule
important.
you have there. So, for example, like that, it must be the curriculum. It's
Curriculum
also in
issues.
some countries it's
Yeah.
very important. They shouldn't do it after school.
How to combine ESD to the school curriculums. That's huge issues.
Also implementation in one institution is very important.
Yeah.
I haven't been worked very much with that. I'm myself a headmaster.
Oh, you're a headmaster. That's
Yeah.
good. So you
So-
can do the whole school apology. So
Yeah. Yes,
You can.
but even I am, and it's very difficult to make big changes in the classrooms.
is that the issues of the teachers' understanding of the concept of ESD?
It's difficult to change their way to
Ordinary
act.
way.
Their way to act,
Yeah.
actually, and idea about what is the right meaning of these things. That is not so easy.
So your school is participating some ESD methods, eco school, green school.
I'm also a national coordinator for the policy projects.
In Sweden, yeah, I know.
No, it's not Sweden, it's Denmark, Finland, around
You have a network
much
of sustainable schools.
Yes. So we're working on course inside.
Yeah.
ESPnet. Yes.
And now we learn from you your practices.
Everybody knows from each other. I make more say. And then it must be implemented in that way as possible. So we couldn't really take something there and do it in the same way. So like this. It's very interesting.
Thank you very much. So, but you usually have a conference each other about the country. So
Yes,
like
we
this,
have one.
so,
Yes, we have different levels.
yeah.
Last
Last
week
week you have
the Danish teachers.
Danish teachers.
Yes, I have with them. And we had invited some teachers from abroad to be in the process so the schools could be connected. They could develop projects together.
Yeah.
That was very interesting.
So
And
in
the process.
yes. So in your country, ESD is integrated to your curriculum guidelines. So
Yes, I
is it effective with the teachers? So,
I'm not sure in the curriculum you can't there will not be a comment. This is from ESD. So I'm not sure the teachers they know it.
yeah, they know that. We are same condition.
That must be known in the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
I'm not so afraid about this. Teachers should know.
We have also many words in our curriculum guidelines, but
Yes,
yeah, some teachers does not understand at all. So
but I think it should be a part of the normal curriculum.
yeah.
Then it's not necessary. This is
Yeah.
every teacher should know the word system.
Yeah, everyone knows that already knows that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also also be value. So that is not necessary. They have a special guideline.
Yeah. The new development. So we are doing such a practices for 10 years, but sometimes no advancement at all.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Many ways.
Also why, how much we do it. Only say involve the students more in the curriculum.
One goal.
Yes. Well, I shouldn't disturb you.
No. I'm timekeeper, so I have to summing up those discussions. Thank you very much.
じゃあ次はこの専用をインターナショナルの事業やそれからアクティビティやそれから地域とのいろいろあると思うんですけども何がこれをもたらしたんでしょうか。今度はそれをまたこのペーパーに書いてみます。何がこのような現象を起こで、今度は4つ書いてもらってまた貼ってください。で
So now it's 5:30. We have only 10 minutes left. Yeah, very short. I'm sorry. I apologize to you, but oh, maybe this group has already finished, so that's fine. C group has finished. They are taking pictures. So let's think how to present your result, your conclusions. And please decide who have a report after 5:40. 島先生どうも。どうも。そうです。三上先生は三上先生は多分名古屋の方にいらっしゃる。ああ、そうか。はい。そうですね。はい。先生もパリ行かれたりして大変でしたね、本当に。ご活躍いろんなところで拝見しております。
そこそこというかな。また三宅さんとちょっと勉強させていただいて。
こちらこそ。この間福島の奥只見の学校さんとか結構来てくれて、教育長さんも来てくれたんです。はい。この人また東海行ってぜひ福島にいろいろだと思いますけど、お知恵を合宿したいと思います。
先日ご講演いただいて、
あ、そうでしたか。形で、そうでしたか。
すごいありがとうございます。いただいて、まともにご案内してないので。
いえ、じゃあ伝えておきますので、先生お久しいの分かってますので、これもあるし、あっちも美味しいディスクルもね、ありますしね。
そうです。去年の私になって、シンポジウムです。素晴らしかったですね。雪の中の。
なるほど。美味しいです。そうでしたね。そうですね。
同じようなところに。
そうですね。そうですね。21世紀好きです。そうですね。
現場は
そうですね。あれをやるとかなり教育のメインストリームに ESD が食い込んでくるので、コンペテンスがかぶっているんです
あんまり言葉になってないかもしれないですけども、環境だとか、いろんな分野があるんですけどね、またなんか通じますね。先生の席にご分析とかすごく興味深かった。
ありがとうございます。また試行錯誤で、気仙沼さんと一緒に
シンポジウムがまたなんか報告
そうですね。ありましたら、はい。 After 4 minutes, we will start our discussion. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, now time up. Now it's 5:40. Finished. Could you please go back to your seat? Okay, now is the time to start. Thank you very much. Finished. Thank you. Thank you very much for your cooperation. D group finished? Are you finished? A? All finished, all over. Thank you. Okay, we have no time. Finish. あ、そうですか。はい。ありがとうございます。Okay, please be seated. I'm sorry our time is too short. Each school has a lot of issues, but this time we concentrate on the achievement, ESD achievement, because this is the decade, final decade conference of the ESD. We talk about the school achievements. Okay, Professor Suzuki, D group. Okay. Yes, now we start our presentations. Because of our translation issues, we start from A and end in D, E. So I'm sorry, A is the first groups, and all group members stand in the front, and you keep your whiteboard here to show for your explanation. So all group members stand up and show your discussion. Okay, so microphones, so someone keep some no microphones. Okay. So at first introduce yourself and start.
I'm from Lebanon, Jocelyn Dow. I present my group project. So, how our students change. They became responsible, they have critical thinking, intercultural dialogue, environmental awareness, and values. How we reach this target? First, due to interaction among different social entities. They can be human as parents, they can be governmental entities or non-governmental institutions. Second, it's due to curricular and extracurricular activities such as ASPnet project and school personal project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any other comments, or if you have anyone some question to them? You don't have any question? This is one of the good opportunity for exchange our ideas and experiences. Nobody's? No one does not, you don't have some additional comment? Okay. Some members. You have questions? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Lorima. Question is, as been said here, on intercultural dialogue. Could you kindly please just elaborate a little bit on how the students manage to acquire undertake the intercultural dialogue? What are the ways in which they went about it?
So, could you please tell me your intercultural dialogues?
When they participate in international projects, with another country, when they make a cultural trip to visit other country. This is the intercultural dialogue, when they learn how to respect others' difference.
So thank you very much for that. We fully endorse intercultural dialogue. I'm very happy that this has been brought up. And we know that the Mondialogo project funded by Daimler Chrysler was a very successful project. And we would like to, as teachers in this forum, request if we have another sponsorship for intercultural dialogue, something like the Mondialogo project. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your suggestions. We need sponsorships for continuing our intercultural dialogues. Are there anyone some comment for them? No? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation of A group. Thank you. Okay, next one is Group B. All group members stand up.
Our group, we were trying to look at the change in the students. And we have said that our students have changed. One, just like the first group has said, intercultural understanding. This is where when our students get engaged with other students from other schools, they network, they engage in participatory activities, they are able to develop intercultural understanding, and therefore they are able to appreciate and respect cultural diversity. Another change in our students that we have noted is that our students have engaged in eco-friendly actions. For example, they have learned how to reuse what has already been used so that they could take care of our environment to ensure that our environment is not polluted. They have also been able to ensure that they are not using plastic bags that can pollute the environment. And as well as, of course, making sure that they are able to engage actively in environmental protection. The other change that we have noted is that our students have developed communication skills through the interactive forums and discussions that our students are engaging in. They are able to express themselves, they are able to articulate their ideas, they are able to engage responsibly in the discussions that affect their lives. Another change that we have noted is that our students have changed their perspectives, the way in which they think as a result of engaging in ESD activities has really changed. Our students are now engaging more in creative thinking, and therefore they are able to make decisions that are able to shape their future. Another change that we've noted in our students is our students have become more responsible students. They are able to take up responsibility. They have changed their attitude in the way they look at things that affect our society is quite different. They have engaged in teamwork spirit. They have become more volunteers in taking part in community development, and we are seeing that this is good. Another change that we have noted is that our students have engaged, they have engaged learning that is lifelong, such that they have become enlightened by realizing the necessity of looking at the challenges facing our society, and therefore they are engaging problem-solving skills to be able to deal with those problems that affect our society, such as intolerance, such as environmental degradation. They have been able to engage problem-solving skills to be able to handle those problems that affect our society. Are we together up to there? Is it okay, my group? Is it what we have agreed? Oh, yes. I don't know, our facilitators, was I to talk about the contributing factors at this point? Okay. Sorry? Up to there. Is it up to there? I beg to be guided. Go on. I go on. The contribute... Sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. The contributing factors that have made our students change their attitude, as we have mentioned, is because we have engaged them in discussions. Our students in our schools are engaging in very active discussions, and therefore they are able to share ideas, and therefore this has brought about the change we have talked about. Now, in our teaching approaches, we have changed our teaching approaches such that we are engaging teaching approaches where we engage students in the learning process, and therefore they are able to integrate what we are telling them and disseminate the same to their fellow students. Another factor that has contributed to change is the collaboration, just like my colleague has said, the kind of collaboration that we are enjoying this time, the collaboration, the networking with other students, with other partners, with other people of like minds has also brought about the change that we are talking about. And also the projects that we are taking part in our schools, these are projects that actually bringing about sustainability. Some of our schools have come up with projects, they have developed business ideas, they have developed them, they have come up with products that they are selling, and they are able to bring about income that is paying school fees for the less fortunate student, particularly in Africa, in Kenya, where I come from. We have about 50% those who cannot be able to afford, but the other students are coming up with ideas, they are developing these ideas, they are making products, they are selling them, and they are paying fees for the others, and therefore we can see many more accessing school, and therefore we very soon attain education for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And more. So your speech is so perfect. You talk about all of the features, all of the good points of the ESD and the ASPnet schools.
Very briefly, I say something on the role of teachers. Beyond 2014, because we are celebrating UN decade on education for sustainable development. So we are asking ourselves, what is it beyond 2014? What is the role of the teacher? And as the director for UNESCO General told us this morning, the role of the teacher goes beyond just career. The role of a teacher entails commitment, it entails passion and vision. And therefore in my group, we have said that the teachers have a role to create new opportunities. We are not going to end here. We are not going to end with 2014. We are creating new opportunities beyond 2014 for ESD activities. And then we are saying, again, as our director told us this morning, we cannot achieve this alone. We need to bring others on board. We need to come on board as individuals, as government institutions, and even as civil society and even private sector. So therefore we have said as teachers we need to involve other stakeholders. We have also said that we need to continue promoting ESD concept in our schools. We are not stopping at 2014. We have a vision, and a good teacher is one who is visionary, and therefore we are going to continue promoting ESD concept in our schools. Teachers are going to continue to be facilitators. That is the other role that we have talked about. We are not stopping here. We are going to multiply the ideas even by bringing other schools on board that do not know about ESD activities. We are also going to continue improving student skills. We are going to continue improving student skills by engaging them in teaching them desirable values and skills that promote ESD activities. And we have said as teachers, we need to engage in evaluation and monitoring process so that we can see from time to time what are the achievements of ESD in our schools, and what is it that we project beyond the time that we'll have done the evaluation and monitoring aspect. And of course, as ASPnet, we are saying, as ASPnet schools, we need to be given more time so that we can be able to engage in these activities, because one of the challenges that we note is that we may not have enough time. And then we'd also want to urge our government and other supporters, UNESCO, please let us have ESD incorporated in our school curriculum. That will be very good. And as ASPnet schools, we are saying as teachers, we need more capacity building so that we can have more ideas on ESD activities. And of course, we need to continue doing coordination like it is happening now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your passion and vision as a teacher. Do you have any questions to Group B? No? Don't you have any comment to her? No? Okay, thank you very much. So next group is the C group. Thank you.
Now that's a hard act to follow. Okay, so we went beyond the skills and knowledge that the students would get, and we focused on the character and the attitudes and the values that are developed through ESD. So the change in students, we said, definitely creativity, leadership, there's an intrinsic motivation, citizenship, the awareness and conscientiousness, the charitable or the selflessness, engaging students with community as well as with their own education, cooperation, peace building, responsibility, they become wise, and their intelligence with critical thinking is developed. They are more open-minded. They can manage a lot more. And that kind of is really important in a complex world, and with technology, being able to manage time, I think, is something that we all see in our high school students. Freedom of expression, being caring and compassionate, and resourceful in their own communities. So that idea that you had with businesses and creating businesses to help the others, that's you looking at resourcefulness that they have. And then just with regards to beyond this conference and moving into the next decade with the GAP. So we said basically building team among staff. And with that, it takes new teachers to mentor old teachers sometimes, and also old teachers to mentor new. So there's that building. Leading by example. And I think within our own, how we set up our classrooms and what we, if I'm guilty of it, but, am I using reusable water or coffee cups versus, even saving one-page paper. So leading by example with little things that we do in our classroom. We talked about informing parents. So a lot of times we talk by high school, in North America, and I think it's kind of the same, parents, they're tired by high school. And so quite often they just send their kids to school and you deal with them. And I think we need to engage our parents as well. That partnership in the community and collaborating with community members. Cross-curricular, so we need to take a look within our schools and how can we address things not only from a scientific angle, but from a social humanities angle, and that. Promoting through media, a lot of times, I'm not only social media, but our newspapers engaging them in some of the projects that the students are doing. That can help us out. The support at all levels, I think we have to be advocates. A lot of us say ESD isn't integrated into the various curricular areas, and I think that as teachers, we have a lot on our shoulders, but we can't forget that we have to keep advocating for that within our government systems as well. So social media integrated. Skill-based education. So with ESD, there is a whole, sometimes we talk a lot about the character, but with ESD there's a lot in technologies and innovation and that. So in taking the creativity and also building skill with that. So that's important. That innovation and content-based learning. So that was with regards to, you know, in your chemistry or in your biology, are there ESD activities that you can be working on there? There was also bringing in history. So there's, from a historical perspective, and that we mentioned that there was a Japanese proverb of taking your history into your future. So bringing that in for content-based learning. So is there anything you'd like to add from the team? No? We think it's lovely? Because yes, it was a hard act to follow. Okay, so give me a big round of applause now.
Okay, perfect presentation. I'm tired by school every day as a kids of the primary school. So thank you very much talking about some critical thinking and so many skills. And you talk about the, what we do for the next networking and curriculum collaborations, building teacher organizations. We have to do a lot of things beyond 2014. Okay, now next is the group D. Welcome.
So this is the way how we see it in Group D. We thought that learning ESD must be fun. This is what Elizabeth has suggested, especially with kids. Otherwise, they would not like to learn about this subject. Now, ESD, learning ESD would change the students' attitude and lifestyles. Attitude in the way that they are going to get to be more responsible, locally and globally. The students as well will change in being influential, and this is one of the examples that has been given to us from South Africa. The students are taught ESD subject. They get to be so influential that they can influence their parents to change their way of life. So this is what we mean by being influential. Now, being responsible locally and globally, this would change students' attitude, and this will lead us to have peace and to live peacefully. The lifestyle, ESD can change students' lifestyle by changing their habits. Example of habits, being responsible in the way of how to consume, responsible consumption. This is one of the examples. And also having new ideas by being innovative, being leaders in the way that they are creating new things. Now, the factors that can lead to this, it could be, as it was mentioned here, by project led in class, through forums, if they are participating in them, or partnerships between countries or between classes, even within the same country. So this is for the first part. Now, the second part is how teachers should be. We thought that teachers should be an example. So it means that we should not teach things in which we don't believe. So we must practice what we teach. To be creative as well, creative in the way of finding ways to teach the students the ESD. Like, you don't wait for things to come to you, you just look forward to them, like looking for new partnerships, looking for new projects. The teacher as well should be well informed about the subject. If he wants to convince the students, he should be well informed about them, since he is a source of information. Be practical in the way that you don't just talk about problems, try to find solutions for them. And the teacher should be a facilitator and coordinator. Facilitator in the way that he facilitates this subject to his students. Coordinator, he can be a coordinator for the students to help him coordinate with his society, and also coordinator with his colleagues, like transmitting these ideas of ESD to other colleagues so that they can be involved with us. And teachers should have always a futuristic view. It means we should not only think about the present, we should have also a view about the future. Have I forgotten anything?
Not forgotten, but just to emphasize, what we had said is that education for sustainable development of young people empowers young people. It allows, as our colleague from Japan had said, it allows young people's horizons to be broadened outside of their, their daily ways of living. And in this empowerment then allows societies to be changed, because the power of a young child telling an adult what they are doing could be done differently, can be done better, is so powerful in terms of changing a person's habits, because it's not easy for a person of my age to just change habits, but being told by a young person becomes so powerful. And that is what the group had picked up.
Sorry.
All finished? Anyone? Group members? Some comment? You talk? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would like to emphasize this network that we're creating already, okay? It's quite important, although you said, okay? But to emphasize the idea that we teachers are hubs of information. So as we can now exchange our ideas in a global way, so later we can show that information to our students. So this network up and down as we're students as a good action.
Thank you. Anyone? Do you have any additional comment? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any comments for them? No? So the final group is group E. Thank you very much.
Hello, we are the last but not the least. ESD projects, normally we took the trend of setting goals and targets. So we looked around our area as to problems that we have, and then we deal with it. Because if the activity you are doing is not benefiting the person, they will not embrace it much. So we allow our children to come up with problems that we have in our area, society, as we live in, and we try to work within that. Checking from this one, you know that we have the problem of environment. People, we grew up doing whatever we liked. You can decide to clean your environment or not, because there's no check on us. But as the environment is changing, we need to control the environment in a way that we be able to live in. So with the environmental problems, we identified most of them in the African area. We have sanitation as a problem, and then even water to drink as a problem. Some don't have potable water to drink. So anything goes. You see people buying any sort of water and drinking. So we are trying to solve that problem by helping the children to come up with a better way of having potable water to drink. So with the water, not just taking any river, but they are processed water. So we allow them to come out with the best way of getting the potable water. We have sachet, we have bottled. Though it's expensive, we arrange with factories. They supply just the water, not the container. So they have bottles that they have the water in. So we are only paying for the water, not the bottle. So at the end of the day, when we consume, they only come for their bottles, and then we enjoy the water at a cheaper price. Okay, we also with the sanitation aspect, the children are grouped in various groupings so that one group will be able to clean the environment by sweeping, taking up over the rubbish. The rubbish, we normally sort them out. You know, we have paper and other kind of rubbish. So we don't just put all together. We are trying to inculcate in the children as to how to segregate them for easy disposal. So the groups are in charge. They have their various bins. And then when you pick, if it's paper, paper goes into paper container, plastics goes into that. So we are trying to teach them how to separate them for easy disposal. And then as they do that, you see, they go home. And then when they are trying to do that, the parents see a change in them. Formerly, my child would just gather everything into one container to the refuse dump. But now the child is, Mommy, no, we have to put the paper here and that. So at least they are influencing even the family, and then that will go a long way to influence the society. Okay. And then with diseases, we need to prevent the diseases rather to wait for the disease to come and catch up with us. So we try to help the children to know basic ways of preventing diseases. So we normally invite health personnel, doctors from Kolebu and other places. They come and teach them proper way of washing hands. So when it's done, they also demonstrate. They get home. Now you see your child not washing the way they pour water on one. No. Now they go through the process one on one. So even by the parents watching the children, they know that the children have gone through a sort of education. Then you also try to learn from them. Unlike where, even if the person is not going to school, the child can help the parent who is an illiterate or something to do the right thing. So we change the mindset of the children, and we also do that in the homes, and it goes a long way to sustain the problem. And then with bigger aspects, another colleague talked about fever, some kind of fever in their area, and then they tell the children with posters that maybe at a certain period of time, these mosquitoes or whatever will enter their homes. So close your doors at this time. Yeah, maybe from 3 o'clock, close the doors. You see this child closing doors, and parents will marvel, what is happening? Then the child will have the opportunity to explain to the parent that the teacher said, when we do that, we can prevent the type of fever or whatever is coming. And then they have sprays. They are asked to, when you close, you spray. So we don't wait for the child to be sick or the parent to be sick before we go for treatment. So in a way, we are changing the mindset and then the behavior of the people.
Okay, we don't have enough time.
I'll let my sister also come and take the other side of it.
I'll be brief. Sorry. You've beaten us to most of the points in terms of what the teachers need to do. And what came through really most strongly in your groups as well as ours was teacher as facilitator. Student-centered learning. Although we kind of had to add to that a little bit in terms of some of the teaching, because I think that students now need to be engaged in quite controversial issues, and they need to make right decisions. So teaching ethics, giving them a sense of the right thing to do, we felt was important.
because we live in a world that we can do things at a much faster rate than we can figure out whether or not we should be doing them. So I think we need to help with that. Increasing motivation is a job for us to do. Fostering the attitude to cooperate, so fostering empathy that goes across borders as well as across the students and the community. Facilitating participation in the community as well as across faculties in schools. And teacher development. We need to learn ourselves how to cope with, or how to deal with controversial issues, and therefore how to help the students with them.
That's all? That's all? Thank you very much. E-group, great presentation. Okay, now all of us reported our discussions. Someone talk about the transformation of the skills and attitude of the students, and someone talk about the transformation of the teaching and the learning method. And someone introduced us the topic of the ESD and ASPnet schools. So ESD is said to be the reorientation of education. You showed us the good point and the good result of the ESD promotions. And beyond 2014, we keep and we continue and we struggle against for the next 10 years. And finally, we will have a time to have a comment from the ASP Network Chief, Livia. Give us some comments. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank you once again for this result of the working group, for your brilliant presentations. I'm very proud to be here with you. It's a privilege for me to meet all of you and to have this moment, this working time to be together, to know each other, and to see how we can continue to build new or strengthen already existing partnership. Some of you are ASPnet national coordinators, and I want also to pay tribute to your great work in your different countries, because it's very important also that we have the support of the national commissions, and through your hard work as national coordinator, and also for some of you also as teachers, we have all these great achievements. It's thanks to your work, and I want sincerely also to pass this congratulation to all your networks, not only the principals, but all the teachers that are working with you, all your students in the respective networks. ESD concerns educational content and methodology. ESD promotes skills like critical thinking and imagining future scenarios. ESD treats the three pillars of sustainable development in an integrated manner. ESD encompasses formal, non-formal, and informal education and learning. During the decade, under the lead agency of UNESCO, ESD has proven to be a vehicle for the transformation of education practice. Education is seen as an instrument to address sustainability challenges. ESD is more and more present in national and international education policies. All institutional approaches in ESD are increasingly seen as a promising way to advance sustainability and sustainable development. ESD gains a momentum, but much remains to be accomplished. to integrate ESD into all areas of education and learning. So, what is the comparative advantage of ESPnet to be part of this movement? ESPnet promotes UNESCO values, take action in favor of international days, weeks, years, and decades, like this one, serve as model schools to pilot tests, new topic and innovative educational materials, contribute to the function of UNESCO as a catalyst for international cooperation, and this is a good example today, and participate in research on innovative educational methods. You know that we have 4 pillars within ESPnet, peace and human rights. We have also the world concerns and the role of UN system, intercultural learning, and ESD. We have all in mind that it's important that in each single activities that we undertake on a daily basis, we can do a difference. We can change things. So it's true that I know you are here because you are selected on the basis of your activeness and your contribution to the decade. And I know perfectly through your reports, annual reports, and also the meeting that I have with you when I go on mission or you come to see me at UNESCO Paris. I know that you do an amazing work. And this is very important that we continue this support all together. Of course, we have all limited resources, human and financial. It's why also all the obstacles that you face, maybe in a daily basis also, it's important that we try to find a way all together to continue this contribution to ESD, because we celebrate the end of the decade, but we have a big program also for the 5 years now with the Global Action Program. And I know that some ESPnet schools representatives have already sent contribution to participate to the GAP. So I want also to thank you because you are completely part of this post-2014 agenda. I want also to see in which way concretely we can help you, for example, starting by next year. I have 2 very important new projects that I want to inform you. The first one, it's true, we will launch the whole school approach through ESPnet, through a new flagship project. So you will receive as national coordinator or the teacher through the national coordinators, information about this new pilot project that we want to launch from next January. I want also to inform you that the next conference on climate change, what we call COP21, will be organized in Paris. And this is also something that I want that ESPnet is completely part of this activity. So this is 2 very concrete new projects that I want to inform you in advance. But I want also that within our respective activities, we continue this ESPnet multiplier effect through our flagships project, and you know that we have this very important and wonderful one, the World Heritage in the Education in Young Hands, and there is a part dedicated to environment and to support to sustainable development. We have the Baltic Sea, the Blue Danube, the Caribbean Sea, the Sandwich project, but I'm sure that the Great Volga River Route project, I'm sure that we can continue to have also with your help and your support, the possibility to continue and to expand also this already existing flagship and to integrate some aspect of these flagships in the other new flagship projects that I just mentioned. We are also a laboratory for developing, experimenting, and validating innovative educational material. And I want also to thank you because some of you have contributed very actively to the experimentation of the kit on dryland countries, or mountain countries, or disaster risk reduction educational material, or also the ozone action educational pack that we have elaborated with UNEP. And I receive regularly also your example of good practices. More I receive example from you, more I can give also visibility to your activities. So sampling of some ESPnet pioneer, you are, I like to say that ESP is like a pioneer. We are a gold mine, and we need to show what exactly we are doing and give the bigger visibility as possible. Alors, we have also a very important point, and some of you have already mentioned this aspect. It's the use of the new technology, the new information communication technology. I want also to thank you because one of my criteria to select the participants were the participation in our 2 online platform, ESPnet in Action. The first one on biodiversity, and you know that we have just launched 2 months ago the new one concerning global citizenship education in support of ESD. It's important that we increase online interaction, exchange among associated schools worldwide, that we continue to share activities, projects, resources, and multimedia and discuss topics together. We enhance networking and communication with these new platforms, and we share experience, and we continue to do it. And you know that we have facilitators in English and French to help you to give as much as possible visibility to your contributions. And we want to promote through the various international days or campaigns. We want to propose you to be very active. It's why we have this ESPnet in Action that we want to continue for all this year and also an half of next year. So, now for 2014, after there is the gap, so for those who are interested to participate with ESPnet to this global worldwide effort, please don't hesitate to propose activities, and we can see how we can implement it together. We now come to the close of our platform for teachers, which I'm sure you will agree has been most productive. During this afternoon, throughout presentation and discussion in working groups, we had the opportunity to exchange, discuss, and listen to each other, as well to establish and reinforce new and already existing partnerships. We have seen how UNESCO associated schools across the globe have been and are contributing to ESD achievements, and I hope that you will be able to return to your home country full of new ideas and motivation in order to promote ESD post-2014. Personally, let me say that it was a real pleasure to meet and interact with such a forward-looking and smart group of participants. You, the teachers, are the key partners and facilitators of the networks. You have been and are undertaking a remarkable work. It's why also I insist also for the celebration of the Teachers' Day, because it's also a way to pay tribute to all of you. Teachers are the bedrocks of education, and the ESPnet are the true agent of innovation. Without you, without your invaluable daily contribution, none of the numerous projects and activities carried out in the network during the past 60 years would have been possible. Finally, my sincere appreciation and immense gratitude to the Japanese organizers for providing us with such lovely surroundings, wonderful hospitality, and the fine organizational framework for our deliberation. I wish you all a good evening and I will be glad to also see you tomorrow during the Japan's National Conference on UNESCO ASPnet.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tadri, for your warm comments and for empowering ASPnet. We have reached the end of the session, and thank you to all of you. Oh, yes.
Hello, I'm from Russia. I'm UNESCO ASPnet Executive Director of the Russian Federation, and I'd like to express profound gratitude to our international coordinator, Livia Saldari, for informing us of those bright events that take part in UNESCO, actively cooperates with us, always supports and gives us the right direction of development. Thank you very much. And I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to all organizers of these events for the warm hospitality, setting the stage for the productive collaboration that gives us an opportunity to establish new contacts and expand new partnerships. Thank you.
Anybody wants to say any words? No? Can we close the session? Okay. Thank you very much once again, and thank you to all of you participating and attending the ASPnet platform for teachers. And of course, on the behalf of the related organizations and staff, I'd like to express my appreciation to Professor Ichinose and all the facilitators and communication supporters. Thank you very much. And before closing, just for your information, there is a little slip with the pink color on your table for each of you, telling you the schedule for tomorrow. If you have time, please join us at Japan's National Conference on UNESCO ASPnet tomorrow. The registration starts from 9 o'clock a.m. to 9:30. You can hear a lot of the school's ESD experiences. Okay, thank you very much for today, and I'd like to close the teachers' event. Thank you very much.